a few times. It takes you 10 minutes to do at the most.
Yeah. Same
Okay,
here with the
folks,
plant.
we're live.
Awesome.
Okay, we're gonna talk more. Okay, this is a juicy topic for sure. Plants. I got a daughter-in-law that has a shirt that says, "I'm not hoarding, I'm collecting plants."
There you go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome everybody to the South Edition of Phoenix. Well, we get together every week to help one another in some way and welcome some new visitors like Dr. Ann Lawrence. She's a naturopath. We're going to be talking more about her a little bit later. So those of you that are on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and YouTube, welcome. If you have a business, this is the place to be. We have the energy in some way that when people even come to visit, their sales go up. It's not by accident. We have the energy that we're moving forward no matter what happens in the world. It's just an amazing thing when you could stand back and just be part of a incredible group of people. We've been doing this for 8 years. We're not new at this, and we've got so many testimonials and just things that we have gotten people started in their business where they were unsure, they were kind of green in what they were doing, and by the time they were in at a point where they just had to exit because they were just so busy. We've got about 60% of our people like that. But what this really does is the people that are really nurturing, we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to enhance their business and enhance themselves, and that's what we do. So just going to get a little bit of stats here. As far as the referrals go, again, we have quite an interesting number. Referrals are 311 from January to today. BAMs are 312. How do you make that up? So a couple of weeks ago, we sent out a challenge that we want to do as many BAMs, and what that is for those that are tuning in, it's a business activity meeting or a business meeting itself where you get two of our members that just meet and they talk more about themselves. This is outside of these type of meetings. This lasts about an hour, but when during the week they get together, they'll either go to a restaurant to do a BAM walk, as we call it, and we just talk about the kids. We talk about what we like to do at the cottage, right, Sam? So it's a great time and it's amazing. And that's called the BAM. That usually takes an hour, a couple of hours. That's that kind of thing. And when we can turn people that we know from the people that we know into friends, we trust them more. And for some reason, the business goes up. So if you are going through a time where you want business to head up a little bit, do a BAM. And the numbers don't lie. 311, 312. How do you? And that's over hundreds of these things. And this isn't that uncommon because over the course of the time that we've been doing this for many years, it all seems to have the same pattern. When you meet somebody, even if that person doesn't give you a referral, the energy of another person will come in and give you that business. So it doesn't really matter how the business comes in. If it comes in, you welcome it, right? So we're going to take a little snapshot of how we are doing overall as a group. This is our pbex.ca site. If you ever have a new computer and you want to know what's going on with Phoenix, this is the place to be. It's pbex.ca or phoenixbusinessexchange.com. They are both the same as far as it reaches. Member of the week, you got Penny Lee Prevost. She's our dancing motivator. She's our moving to heal concierge, and we are just so happy to have her. She's is a success story in herself. She came from an accident years ago, and basically we couldn't even recognize what the car looked like, and she walked out of it. So she has a purpose on this earth, and she certainly doing that for sure. So there's Penny Lee's e-card and a little quick video of Penny Lee. So you have a chance to go through that. If you have a visitor, somebody that wants to come in They just go to this site, and whether it's the Monday, Wednesday, or the Thursday group, today's group, you just simply press that red button, and it has the Zoom link already embedded in the button. And this is one great way to not have to remember it. And once your computer has it on save, you can get in after that. But we encourage any visitors that have a business that come on in. Let us know what you think. August 6th is our next after hours meeting. That's a group that we've created where for some of those people that can't network during the day. It's, in other words, they're so busy, they're just inundated, and they just can't get away. They're either in the truck or in the vehicle, and they just don't have the time. So once a month, for 1 month, for about an hour or so, we get together, and it's in the evening, and it's usually the first Tuesday of the month, and that's coming up next Tuesday evening. It's 7 p.m., and Penny Lee Prevost is heading that up. She's a master at getting goals set up and make you accountable. I think everyone that has ever joined that group, and if you're a member of any kind, you can join that, and it doesn't cost anything. It's the new people that if they just want that alone, it's one thing, but all weekly members are invited. They can come in for that one, okay? The special events, well, I have my meditation class every Friday. August the 2nd is the next one. That's tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the 4 agreements. In that way, Penny Lee has her dance. The schedule is posted there. Now, our next meeting for the East End is going to be on August the 7th at 7:30 at the Biggs Grill. That's the one on Saint Laurent in Searville. South End is going to happen on the 22nd. That's the one we had last week, and it's amazing. It was so nice to be able to have that event at the River Lounge. Bell's Corners is going to be August the 26th, and that's going to be at High Fives in Bell's Corners. We're playing golf today, hey Bernie? So we can't wait to get out on the course. That's going to should be there around noon or so. And we're going to try to raise some money for the kids on Make-A-Wish program. Mike Volotsky is heading that charity up, and Bernie and I we're just so happy to have him sort of head that up and make this another successful golf day. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, so thank you, Bernie, for ordering that great weather.
Yeah, it's just 39 degrees when we're out there golfing, so stay
hydrated. I know. I'm going to have to splash myself when I get out there. Well, it's a good thing that there are water holes so that you can just jump in. That should be okay, eh? Last time I actually had to take the golf cart in there, so I don't think they were too happy with that, but I'm just kidding. And if you want anybody to, if you're looking for any particular member, this QR directory is a neat little trick that if you're looking for a specific person, then you basically scroll down and everyone's e-card is on here with their QR. So if you're on your phone, you basically take your QR and just tap that QR and it gets into their profile. Or you could take their QR, make it bigger by that diagonal shift, and you could give that to somebody else. So if you're in a supermarket, whatever, and someone says they need a dash cam, then you just basically scroll down and you can find Sam. He's our dash cam expert in that way. And you take that QR and you give that to that person. So the great thing is you have everyone's business card on your phone. The great part is everyone has yours. So if this is a great segue to getting all of that set up so that everyone can be connected very, very quickly. So far we have, as I said, 111,000 in terms of shared business among us. And we have, Steve's just coming in there. Also, we've got the 4.6 million, just under 4.7 million in terms of shared business since we started 8 years ago, and 7,370. Oh, that's a good number. 73 in terms of shared business itself, in terms of referrals. So we like to measure those things to sort of, get and measure the group itself. 5,300, just under 5,400 in terms of hits on our e-cards. We like to measure that just so we can see how your contacts are being able to connect to themselves. That's a really great one for this year. So that means if on your email, in all of your Facebook posts, Instagram, at the bottom in the show notes, just put in there if you want to contact Q, if you want to contact Cremina, here's my e-card. And electronically, anyone in the world can press that and they have access to you. Don't think for a second that just because someone is in South America, they can't do business with you, because everybody knows someone in Ottawa, because it's a great town, right? we had this town up, and I've had so many referrals. One from Ireland recently, and it was somebody that is just outside of the city in Carleton Place, that they live there. Their relatives live there. So it's amazing how small this world is when you look at it that way. So that is it for us as far as go. Just make sure that since we're in a new month, this is August the 1st, send in your sales. If you've done business with another member, just let us know so we can add it to all the numbers that you've just seen, okay? And yeah, so the BAM challenge is do as many BAMs as you can. We want to really see that by doing those BAMs, your sales go up. And because the stats say that, we just want to make sure if that happens in your reality, okay? So we have an education moment. So Eric, take it away, buddy.
Okay, so going back on Chris Voss, I don't know if you guys know him. So Chris Voss was the big high negotiator for the FBI. And so they had a booklet, a training schedule on how to do it in Quantico, I guess it is. Anyway, so he rewrote the book on how negotiations happen for the FBI. But that's really when you've got like an adversary, you've got somebody who's done a hostage taking, whatnot. So as a salesperson, I think can really take a lot of lessons from what he's done. And if you need, he wrote a book that I think never split the difference. So they've kind of brought that over to coaching and towards business. But then, of course, in business, we kind of have to tweak that a little bit because we're not dealing with hostage takers, and it's a very different kind of situation. But all that to say is you really got to choose your words wisely when you're negotiating with somebody. Whether that be negotiating your fee, whether that be negotiating your commission, whether it be negotiating, a fee for repairing windows or a fee for Tony for, spending an hour or two, where's that value coming from? So one of the really super easy, friendly ways to sort of diffuse a situation like that is to say, call me crazy. So now I'm putting the finger on me, not the client. So now the client is saying, oh, it's not about me right now. It's all about this guy. So it's like, call me crazy. I know you're going to think I'm nuts. Maybe I've got far out ideas. Sometimes I get like this. Make up whatever words are comfortable with you, but call me crazy. If you, spent X amount of dollars, but you were able to recoup that amount of dollars just in your first accident, like Sam would say, it's $450 or 500, whatever the fee is for a camera. Say, call me crazy. If you spent this and you got into an accident next month and you had video to prove that it wasn't your fault, you'd probably be really happy that you had spent that money. Yeah, geez, would I ever? Yeah, I'd be very happy. So it's always call me crazy, call me nuts. I might have a crazy idea, but hear me out anyway. It really diffuses the other side. Try it once, and I promise you'll use it again. The next word is really choose your words extremely wisely. So really try and use words that are extremely friendly to the other person. And what you got to do there is figure out what kind of person are they? Are they more artsy? Are they more cerebral? Are they more engineering style? If they're engineering style, they want you to go right to the point. They don't want to hear some big, beautiful, lengthy story of how you helped somebody 3 months ago. All they want to hear about is, you know what? I did this for my client, and this is how I saved them some money, and this is what they did with it. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So that would be the kind of verbiage that you would use for an engineer. The last thing is be quiet. Absolutely be quiet. I don't know where you're going to be. If you're somewhere at a desk or whatever, and you're doing a video call, you're on the phone with somebody, write down on a piece of paper, shut the hell up, be quiet. When you're standing with somebody, figure out a move, a body move that when you're standing there and you're in this position where you're trying to sell something, do something. Cross your arms, make a fist, start doing the finger taps, whatever you need to do. But that will be a reminder for you to be quiet. A really good salesperson listens and asks questions to solicit that other person to talk. So easy questions are, oh, wow, tell me more about this. Tell me more about what you're looking to do after this. Tell me more about what made you choose this in the first place. Tell me more about what you liked so much about this. Tell me more about what you did not like about this. Tell me more about what you're looking for in a realtor. And those are super great questions. All you got to do is say, tell me more. And then you got to be quiet, because then there's going to be a lull. Sometimes these people have a lull. And you got to remember that that lull is an opportunity for you to be quiet. It's not an opportunity for you to break the time and break the quiet. Just wait. And you'll see that that other person will say, and yeah, maybe this, or, yeah, I just thought of something else. Just remember, do the fist, the fingers, the whatever, but just don't let that opportunity pass you by, because that's an opportunity for you to listen. So there you go. Have a great week, everybody. See you on the golf course.
That's great. Very, very good, Eric. That is so true. In some of the sales, they say the first person that talks loses. And I want to know what it is that we always have to have sound or noise around us to be comfortable. Going into some houses, you can see the TV is on, the radio is on, and they're in another room. They just like the noise, and then sometimes I think that's what it is. They just want something to break the silence. It's the silence that has everything. But great reminder. Thank you, Eric. So we don't have a speaker today, so we're going to take this opportunity to go through and talk to everybody here. What was the best referral you ever had? A little story about how they showed up and how they turned into an amazing client for you. I'll go first just to sort of give you an idea of how that would work. Years ago, there was a show on the radio called Experts on Call, and this is something that you had to pay to get on the radio. So at the time, I think it was like $2,500 for about a 30-minute spot. So you had a chance to talk to everybody in 30 minutes. Sounded like a lot of money, but I just had the push that I needed to sort of do that. So I went on. I went online and just started talking about feng shui and the various things about it and so on. And I had a couple of people call in and so on, that kind of thing. And then shortly after, I had a gentleman that called me from Richmond, and he said, "Yeah, I heard you. I got in my truck and I heard you on the radio, and you're doing your thing." And I just had the inkling to reach out and just do, just to have a chat. We did have a chat, and I did feng shui his home. A couple of years later, I feng shuied his home again because he moved. And then he came in for various tunings, gave other people my name, and this particular client has probably generated over $30,000 worth of business for me over the last 11, 12 years. So it's just one of those things that you just sort of try and do. It says, now, is that worth it? And just like Eric says, I'm glad I spent that money. So if you could spend 2,500 to get back 30,000, would you do it? So it's something that you have to, but you don't know these things. They're small decisions. One of the things I've noticed is when we make small decisions, they could be big results in things. Another one was just recently I went to an outside event. There was like 14 people there. And I figured, okay, 14, I'm still getting that I needed to go. So I went, and it's like I've already had people come into my studio. There's 5 of them. I've got another 2 coming. There's another event of the same kind that I've been referred to go to Kingston, and we're doing that on the weekend. And it's just amazing people, and it's been such a successful time for that. All right. So if you have a story, something like that, what was the best experience you've ever had, share it with us. We have a couple of minutes for each person for sure. So Penny Lee, I know you have to leave in a couple of minutes, so this is good timing.
Yeah, it is. So I do get referrals from people on a regular basis, people I've done business with, people who know me. But in a previous business that I was in, I got an amazing referral, and kind of like you say, it was a referral to do a presentation at a campground. And I was like, oh my God, what's this gonna be like? Because going to a campground, I had really no idea of the kind of people that were going to come to the presentation and the volume of sales that I could generate, thinking, if you have a small-minded thinking, then you might think, well, people are vegging at the trailer and they're not going to spend any money, and they're just going to be drinking and stuff like that. And it was in July too. And I remember when I went, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go anyways. It was a distance from my house. And it was the biggest sale I ever had. And from there, I got multiple referrals of presentations to do back into the city. So kind of like you say, don't always question when you get a referral, because you never know where that one person is going to lead you. As a result, I calculated over the course of that year, because of the ripple effect of all the referrals that came from that initial one, I generated over $10,000 in sales just from that one party that I went to do at a campground. And that led to all of these other people that generated multiple chains of connections and leads going forward. So yeah, I think the lesson is that don't question when you have a referral. Just go with it, and you never know what will come of it. So I've seen that many times in many different businesses I've been in. And so that's the one that stands out the most for me.
Thank you, Penny Lee. Cremina, what about you? You've got so much experience. What was the best situation you had regarding business?
Well, there's so many instances. Excuse me. From the top of my head, I'm thinking that I had a customer that asked so many questions about how I'm preparing an arrangement, how I'm choosing the flowers. And after the conversation, she suggested that I should do classes and teach people how to arrange flowers. So I started slow. My first class, I had few people for Christmas arrangement, and then from there I had a lot of people coming in for my classes to learn how to prepare their table arrangement and have their house decorated, and they end up spending less, but they were referring me, and I had a lot more business this way. So you never know in business where it's going to come from. So all I can say is we all have to be open and showing what we can do and what good can we provide to other people. And the right person will always come. We have to believe in that.
Thank you, Cremina. Great story.
So today, if I may continue, I just want to say I did not do any BAMs, but I referred Eric Perron and Jacqueline to a person that is looking for a next chapter of her life that needs to have their services. And if she's still deciding, if she decides to go with that, I'm going to call them personally and I will talk to them as well. So I got a lot of questions about plants. And as Eric asked me this morning about plants again, I just like to say that Langdon's Flowers can provide you with advice on what type of plants you can get. And we have a lot of options at the store that you can see and see if that plant is for you. All you have to do is decide where you're going to put your plants, what kind of light you have there, what kind of care you would like to provide. And you're going to have few suggestions, and you can choose the plant that you like to see, the plant that you'll be able to care of. And if you have further more questions, feel free to text me. I'll be happy to help. I would like you to have plants in your life.
Yeah, very true.
Also, Penny Lee asked me last time about, or the time before, about edible flowers. So Langdon's Flowers does not provide edible flowers because they have to be organic for you to consume. The flowers that are growing for the floral industry they're grown for their appearance, not to be consumed. So we have to be careful, even though we are buying them from reputable growers. We cannot guarantee that they're edible. So for those culinary experts, I have few suggestions. So lavender will provide you with floral notes in your dish. Nasturtium will provide you with papery-like taste. Pansies have greens and grassy taste. Red clover, licorice-like. Roses have the sweet floral note. Squash blooms, they have a hint of nectar. And violets are very subtle and sweet floral, plus all the herbs that we have. So if you have any more questions, I'm willing to provide you with more answers. Just let me know. And if you decide to place an order with Langdon's Flowers, feel free to go to langdonsflowers.com. And don't forget to use your promotional code for your discount, PBEX 2024. Thank you.
And that promotion is a 15% off the orders. Just
Yes.
an extra thing. Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
Cremina. Thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
good. Q, how about you? What was the best referral and the best business thing you've ever done?
I think it's very early on in my career, where I'm still doing field training with my field trainer, and I did like a presentation about who I am and what I do to one of my friend in university. So at that point in time, like she didn't do any business, but she actually referred her friend who was about the same age as her. And he actually believed in life insurance, and he took a small life insurance because like he didn't need that much at that point. So a couple of years fast forward, he actually diagnosed with a brain tumor. He fight like a great fight, but he ended up like passing away. And actually that's actually my first payout ever that I done in my career. And it just was more like 100,000, but it actually helped his little brother to go to university debt-free. Oh, that's pretty amazing in my opinion.
So that was the only large payout you've ever done? Like in the
Yes.
like there's so in other words, are you saying that when they buy an insurance from you, they don't die?
Not
I'm just turning it
not
around
for
on-
a little while.
That's a great way to sell a policy.
Yeah.
I just thought thank you very much, Q. That was good. And Steve, what about you, buddy? What was the best referral you ever had?
Yeah, well, I have to say, I'm going to mention my friend Don. Okay, so he started out. Okay, so this goes years back. I was working at a design shop here in town, a publishing kind of advertising place, and one of the account execs said, "Look, I've got this client. He works out of his house and he needs a logo. And I thought, well, I'm pretty busy, but I'll see what I can do. And he goes, yeah, and so I went off and met this guy on my free time, and he told me about his vision. So he was a guy working out of his basement, but he had a big vision. And let's just say he turned into be. So I did basically just a logo design for his first company at the time, which was called BSI. And I really went to town on this. I gave him lots of options and I explained everything. Took the time to write it all out, my rationales. And he was like, I'm really impressed with your approach. I like what you're doing. And he immediately turned around and gave me some other stuff. And he said, Steve, if you partner with me, if you kind of join me in the spirit of partnership, I think I'm going to be able to grow this business. And he did grow it to the extent that almost every client that he started getting after about a year or two into this was Fortune 500, or actually Fortune 100. We're talking Whirlpool, Boeing, uh, GlaxoSmithKline, and a lot of the major banks. And I could go on, like every name is a name you would have heard of. And he didn't deal with anyone else. And I was his go-to graphic guy. And so I did this for years. He was 75% of my business. I had staff and an office for a while, and he provided me with 75% of all of my stuff. Then after a while, he got bigger. This has a happy ending because he needed to walk away at one point. He moved to Toronto. Everything got really big. And he said, Steve, I've kind of got some in-house guys now. And I was like, oh, really? And I was even traveling down to still service, try to service the account. Um, and I really loved all the projects he brought because he wanted always the extra level out of me. That same level that I brought the first time, he said, Steve, I know you can do it. You got to do it again on this one. He kept reminding me of that very first thing that I did for him. And he said, I want the same standard here, same standards, partner with me. And we always moved it up. And then he grew to a point where he said, sadly, Steve, I've outgrown you. He didn't use those words, but he had outgrown me. He needed a team on his doorstep in Toronto. Now, fast forward quite a few years. Wow. Okay. So I didn't have him as a client I lost him for about 8 years, and he's just come back because he's slowed down. His business is still coasting along, but he's getting a little older now. And he's like, well, Steve, I'm still in the trenches doing some stuff, but I'm going at a slower speed. I'm not in Toronto anymore. He lives out in Halifax, is where he's originally from. And he came back to me and we're doing stuff again. So the story has a happy ending. I'm still working away for him and expecting a couple of projects from him in the next month or two, I think. So
Nice.
that's my story. And just got back from traveling, feel super invigorated and want to do more BAMs with people. And I've got a couple of projects to clear up still. So I'm working and people know who they are that are waiting for my stuff. So I haven't forgotten you. So yeah, happy to be back.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Great story. And Eric, how about you? What's the best business transaction, the best thing you ever did that was out on top of your mind?
It's really weird. I'm drawing 100% blank.
I know you have a lot of them, but
I'm like 98% referral business, and I can't tell you like one versus the other. It's like, Tony, you probably can understand what I'm going through, but it's just like
I do.
All my thoughts are in one ball, and I can't take one thought out. I did want to bring something up though that was really interesting, and I'd love to hear Tony's take on this. In the last 3 weeks, I have been thinking of somebody, thinking that I need to reach out to somebody, and they in turn have called me. So, Carmina, you're one of them. So this week I've been saying I have to go to Carmina. I've been really busy this week, so I was scheduling it for next week, and I've actually put it in my calendar. So I'm going to call you and meet up with you. But I was thinking, yeah, I want to meet up with Carmina. I've got plastic plants in the house, but I got to get some real ones. I got to get some real life in the house. I got to get some real energy in the house. And then all of a sudden, this morning, she says, "Oh, I have a referral for Eric. I've talked to somebody about it." And it's uncanny. Like, how does that happen that, this week I've put out the energy that I was going to give you a call, and then you mentioned my name back. I was on a phone call 2 days ago, and somebody called me, and no word of a lie, I was in the middle of saying a story, not the person's name, but about the person to the person on the phone. And then this gentleman called me saying, you know, I'm not selling, but this is what I'm doing. And I was like, do you understand that I was actually just talking about your building and rentals in your particular building to somebody else on the phone while you just called me? Like it happened at the exact same time. So I guess referral wise is just keep putting it out there is what I guess I have my advice on. I'd love to hear your take, Tony, since we're kind of ad-libbing here. What's that about? Like, that's crazy. It blew me away this week.
Yeah, this happens all the time when you think of somebody, a high school buddy, or if you think of someone you haven't seen in a long time, you're sending out a beacon to anyone. That's exactly what it is. When you turn on your cell phone and your cell phone is searching for a tower, oh, boom, there it is, because it's sending it out. The beacon itself, the tower, is already doing it. So when you're sending out a beacon, that person is being also gets the message that oh, I haven't seen Eric in a while. It just comes to you. It doesn't just come to you. They get the message and then they think, okay, I should call them. And it's usually at about the same time as you're thinking about them. So those that are putting it off, you'll bump into them later in the day. But those that get the message and act on it, it's at the same time. So yeah, it's that's how powerful we are. But the same thing happens with anger. The same thing happens with many emotions that are high. You're always on a high emotion, and it's always success driven and positive and everything else. So it's more powerful than anger or anything else. So people get that right away. So yeah, if you just think of somebody from high school, there's a good chance that you're going to bump into them in a mall, in a gas station, in a bank, going to Timmy's. It's just uncanny. The other day, I actually told there was something that happened that in a previous life of mine that happened, and I said, okay, are you going to be able to forgive me for that? And I told Spirit that. Then I went over to the supermarket at the Pay for Less or whatever. It's a supermarket that we have in this area, and I'm pulling into one of the parking spots, and someone's pulling through the two spots, and they park, so I couldn't park there. So then I had to turn around and then park at another place across the parking lot, and that said, "You," the letter U, the letter R, you are forgiven. How do you make that up? Just 5 minutes ago, I asked, can you forgive me for that? So to orchestrate the car and everything else, and to have it there within 5 minutes. I went shopping. I'm a guy. I don't like to shop, so I usually came out within about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and the car was gone. So if I would have been 5 minutes earlier or later, I would have missed it. So it had to be at that exact time. I see this all the time, but that's how powerful we are. So it's just going to keep going here. I want to hear from Anne, because she's our new member for the Bell's Corners group. She's a doctor, naturopath. So before you get into your best referral, Anne, introduce yourself and let people know what you do.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a fan going. It's hot here. So I'm a licensed naturopathic doctor. I've been in practice since '99. I do a lot of nutrition, homeopathy, lab testing. I have detox foot spa. I do Bowen therapy, and I help people of all ages and sort of have a general practice. So I don't have one main focus. I'm located in Almont, actually. But I do virtual visits as well. And a lot of my services are covered by insurance, health insurance, if anybody has work health insurance. Not everybody who works for themselves has insurance, though, so I understand that. Now, as far as referrals, I was thinking about it. I probably don't keep track the way maybe I should have over the years. I have a little spot on my intake form for how did you hear about me, but collating that information has not happened. So I'd be curious to see, actually. But I was just thinking that I had patients who worked at Tunney's who were really happy with my services. So they were organizing a lot of events there. So I must have done quite a few lectures there, which ended up in lots of patients. So that's probably one of the biggest ones, I guess.
Nice, nice. When you have good results and people love you, man, can they ever fanfare you, and it really springboards everything. And down by the sunny south, we're gonna go over to Sam. I can see the sun is blinding you from the side.
It is. My left side of my face is on fire.
Yeah, you're gonna have a suntan on one side, you know.
Let's see if I can get my pretty bright on my screen. Hopefully I get my information out there. Anyway, first of all, I wanted to welcome Anne. Nice seeing you, and we're going to hear more from you, I hope, down in the weeks to come. Welcome to Phoenix. As most of you know, I'm at our cottage here in Port Stanley, Ontario, enjoying the fine weather we're having, and looks like Ottawa's going to have the same weather that we're having down here today. So enjoy the golf tournament. Let's see what I do. Well, dash camera is one thing I do. One of the main things I like doing when I work on cars. Also do minor repairs and brake jobs, things like that. When it comes to referrals, well, I wanted to stay with Phoenix members or ex-members. First one is actually with us, and that's Q. I've worked on her car a few times, and she's referred me not only to her cousin, but also a male friend of hers. So I appreciate the extended referrals, Q. Thank you very much. And the other person that is no longer a Phoenix member, and that's Terry Fraser. He keeps referring me to people, and he keeps coming to me all the way from Gatineau, which is very nice. I take care of his vehicle. Not only that, his girlfriend's vehicle, and not only that, his ex-wife's vehicle. So he must be impressed if he's referring his ex-wife to me too. Anyway, I appreciate that kind of thing. There's other people that I get massive referrals, and that's neighbors. I get things from neighbors, and then their friends and people that they go to church with, things like that. So appreciate that. But Phoenix members, thank you very much for referring me to your family members, like Bernie did. His wife, he referred his wife to me, so that was very good of him, and other people that are online here as well. Thank you very much. And as far as, let's see, things going on, well, I donated t-shirts for the golf today, and I ordered some smoked salmon from our friend Dave Beliveau. Hopefully I'll have it when I get back to town. That's it for me.
Thanks a lot, Sam. Awesome. And Mr. Bernie, what was the best business you've ever had, or the referrals that happened to you?
You know, I'm going.
Probably
Well,
have a few.
first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire in like the "Who am I" button, and so there's a whole bunch of links. Everything from the Property Wizard podcast, which is going to be part of the story I'm going to talk to you about in a second. East Trade Winds, the YouTube version of events that starting September 3rd, we're back at it again every Tuesday 8 to 9 Eastern. Then there's the Knack for Business podcast. So it's about sharing connections, and sometimes they overlap. So when I was working in my previous job, I connected with a commercial realtor, and we stayed connected after I left that job, and that's where the Property Wizard comes in. And in fact, there's also been times where he can't pay me a commission because I'm not a realtor, but he says I do the things he doesn't like doing per se, and that means I just have a wider swath of connecting with people, and just chat them up, and it's part of what I do, right? It's connecting people, going, well, what do you need, or hear what the problem is, and go, here's a solution. Here's the person that can offer the solution. That's being the referrals. And he ended up connecting with somebody that I said, listen, this person's looking for a commercial space. And, I ended up getting some funds out of that. It's more from a marketing perspective. So he has me as a marketing consultant in that space. So that was a good win. But a lot of that also, I get to meet doing the property visit. I get to meet other people that he has connections with, understand the nature of the job, and anything from, if you need to do an environmental assessment to understanding, did someone bury an oil tank underneath the ground? To can you actually build a large building, because there's soil analysis. Without going down the rabbit hole, there's a whole bunch of things you might not know about, and that's what happens. I've become a repository of people that know stuff, and I cross connect them. So that's part of it. The other part of it is the podcast. Even Knack for Business. That's met Carl Richards through Phoenix, and Wayne Pratt. Right, Wayne Pratt's my co-host, both in the East Trade Winds and on the Knack for Business podcast. We've just completed season 2, 127 podcasts. Season 1 was 108. Season 3 is already booking into March of 2025. And so we're just strumming along. And a lot of these people, if you need an IP lawyer out of the US and an intellectual property lawyer out of the US, I know 3, depending on what you want. It's kind of an obscure thing. Not everybody wants an IP lawyer, but if you want to say, or you're looking for someone, you're looking to buy a company, or you have a company in the US and you're looking to get they spent money doing research, but they can't capitalize on the tax breaks, that becomes an asset of the company, which, if the company gets bought, then, you have a win. Anyhow, those are kind of little vagaries. It kind of gives you a quick scan of, the different types of connections I have. Then I also have something else to go work with. And this was something I met Lalith and Sood in 2019, and then the pandemic rolled in. I also met Suzanne Sear in 2019. And 20, you already know her. And we ended up forming a company called Clean Shield Solutions. And now we have a product that's got German tech. It's got a proprietary nozzle, and it helps disperse a cleaning agent that does not kill people, plants, pets. Right. And, if you get exposed in your skin, it won't hurt you. It's not volatile organic compounds inside it, but it sanitizes, disinfects the space. And it's a commercial unit. It's meant for commercial space. And the ask here is, if you know someone that might want to have a demo of this, even just to see how it works, what we're looking for is to get photos of the hardware in play and at different locations. The ideal people for this particular product are cleaning companies or someone that has a large venues. Basically, it does 200 cubic meters in 15 minutes. And what is 200 cubic meters? And I sat there going, how do I put that in size perspective? Well, that's like 4 school buses. Imagine being able to clean 4 school buses in 15 minutes, disinfect that entire space. They're all tied together. Right now, you just turn it on, sit there, let it do its thing, and you carry on. And since it's a dry fog, it goes everywhere. Wherever the air goes, it goes, and it sanitizes. Anyhow, I've done 2 things. I've done 3 things here. You know more of what I do. I just gave you a pitch and an ask, and I can keep going, but it's at 8:54, and that's not fair. I'm going to stop there.
It's all good. Like, I don't know anybody that is like a walking yellow pages. If you want to know anything, if you're getting a good referral from anybody, whether it is a lawyer or whether it is a certain particular item, like getting a CRM, there's a good chance that Bernie would know exactly where to go, or he could direct you to the person that knows it. And so I strongly recommend that if you have something and there's something puzzling you, just give Bernie a call. He usually has someone right on his mind that can help you. And chances are, if you think about Bernie 5 minutes, he'll probably call you. So as Penny Lee was talking about her campground thing, that reminded me of another situation I had where it was at the Glebe garage sale. I'm not sure if you know that. Every year they have a point where several streets, everybody comes out of their home and they just put stuff on the sidewalk. It's like a massive garage sale. And I had this inkling that somebody asked me, Tony, are you going to be at the garage sale? I had just started my tuning practice. I was in it for about a year, and I was just itching to get it. I was doing everything. went to psychic fairs and so on. But the garage sale, and I go, oh, what would I be doing there? So I basically had a chair, a table, and when people came up, I just had them sit down and I gave them a tuning with my tuning forks. And I think I paid like $30 for the spot because you know, it was a generation for charity and stuff. And from that, a lady sat down. I tuned her. She says, "This is amazing. Do you teach this stuff?" I says, "Actually, I do." And her and her 6 friends took the class. Each class was each one was about $1,200, so it was over $8,000 worth of sales for $30 investment, and I didn't do anything, and I like it was just one of the easiest things that I did. But overall, the when you look at an event, don't look at it as how many people are going to be there or it's not that great. Just look at it. What are you feeling? You know, if you feel that, you know, this is kind of going to be a good thing, keep it low key. And you know, and I had my shorts on because it was like 30 degrees that day. And but that really brought in so much in that year. And so as far as the teaching goes, it was great. But that's the whole thing. When you're just doing things, don't look at the big stuff or how many people you can get on social media and so on. I still get notes that, you know, if you want 500,000 contacts, you know you have to pay $130. You don't need 500,000. You just need 14. Really, you go to the right event, and you can more than likely do it for almost nothing in terms of that. Just show up, and it's amazing how many people want you there. It really is amazing. So, folks, thank you very much for sharing your stories of the things that have happened to you. That's been great. It's been very entertaining. This is actually a good segment. It gives us more of an idea of what all of us does and our personality, and that, you know, if you're doing the right thing, you're going to get people that love you. No question. Nothing mediocre ever grows. You know, even, you know, it's just it never ceases to amaze me. Just do the very best that you can, care a little bit, and you're already 95% in. You know, then it's just a matter of following up and doing all those other things. So we can do a quote at the end here. Bernie, you got the quote for us for just the
Oh,
end?
yeah.
Yes, we're coming
Yeah,
up
yeah,
to 9
yeah.
o'clock.
Yep. So just as a quick recap, at the very top of the feed of messages, there is a LinkedIn Live link. If you click on that, you can post your details that you've just popped in here. There is what better way to populate and let everybody know what you do and how to find you, right? And the quote for the day: "The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same," according to Colin R. Davis.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, people. And for those that are on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and YouTube, thank you so much for being with us, seeing with us. We can see on your feeds that some of you are very dedicated, and you like to see this this type of meeting. So come on in person and show us what you can do. Maybe there's a chance that we can do something for you. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Hey, Sam, thanks for bringing the sun, man. That's awesome. Love it. Enjoy your day, buddy.
You guys too. Good luck in the golf tournament.